You only had 2 of the ones you like.
Oh, that's fine.
Check on the boobs.
Check on my...
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
So, Chris Fox, welcome to Salty Bake Club.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
glad to have you here.
Likewise.
You are a yoga teacher working at the largest yoga studio in the world. No big deal.
No big deal.
You are a movement alchemist, and you are having another view on yoga, if I may say so. Right. So let's dive in, have some cookies, and talk a little bit about life,
Great.
the juicy stuff, and yoga.
Awesome.
You've been living in Bali for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
How did life change you living in Sweden and then in Bali?
How much time do we have? It changed a lot. I didn't feel like I was myself back in Sweden. I felt that something needed to change, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know who I was, but I had never traveled that much, especially that far away. So there was just these things that kind of brought me into this path of going to Bali to take a teacher training and then stay here until the money runs out. And then the money ran out and I didn't want to leave. And I feel like in the past 8 or 9 years that I've been here so far, I've gone through a consistent change. I'm constantly changing. I haven't found, well, I found a lot of things that I like. I have a lot of grounded values that I still uphold. And I'm also learning so much more about what I want to offer, who I want to be, what I want to give myself, and what kind of person I want to be in the world for the near environment and for the far away environment as well, and the people near and the people far away as well. So I don't feel like I've reached a point where I'm like, yes, this is me. I'm like looking back every now and then and seeing like, oh, I used to do that. Okay, I'm doing something different now. Great.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wish one day I will get to that point, but I doubt it, right? It's like one of these things that we always try to get to that point where we think that we know who we are or what's the special thing about us, right? But I don't know. The unknown is kind of awful and beautiful, right?
I agree.
part
And
of life.
that's kind of why I'm going towards the unknown as well all the time, because it is awful and it is beautiful. It is scary and it is exciting.
Yeah.
Well, we have to do that with a sense of courage. And sometimes we're going to get lost and sometimes we're going to doubt ourselves. And I still think that's important to try.
Okay, but sum it up. Might seem quite like a hard question, but if you would sum up what you learned or how you've changed or how that entire chapter of 10 years in Bali is called, like put it in a word or in a quality.
Wow. Diversity.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you love and what do you hate about living here in Bali?
What I love is my work. Really, that has been the main thing. I just love what I do. I just love that I get to do something that I'm excited about every time I go to work. I'm excited to wake up and like, oh, I get to work today, you know? And it doesn't feel like work, you know? It just feels very, very fun.
Does it never feel like work?
No. I was a serious workaholic. Like I just didn't, I get into this kind of becoming a machine. Like I have a lot of energy and I don't really get tired and stuff like that. Or it takes a long time for me to get tired. And so people ask like, wow, you're teaching so many classes a week. It's like, that's not enough. I can teach at least 3 times that. And I don't, I just love it so much. It's really, really fun to do it.
I kind of right away want to go there and say, wow, that's such a great thing. But I like that you never run out of energy, that you have so much to give. But when I think about that response for a moment, I feel like, isn't that what society told me, right? It's really valued that you're a workaholic, that you have so much energy to give. But then I feel like in these moments, isn't it fucking hard to draw boundaries and see, hey, what's me? Where do I stand in all that?
And that's what I was going to get to, because my energy is precious and who I choose to share it with. So when I go and teach classes, afterwards, I just want to be left alone. It's not that I don't, that I can't. It's just I choose to be by myself. I think that's the biggest change that I've experienced, because I've suffered from, can I say suffered from? I've experienced loneliness my entire life, and I still do. But now I've learned how to process that into more of a solitude. So I really, really appreciate my time alone. So when I'm done teaching, I like to spend time by myself. I used to be more in public, but wanted to be alone, but like my little protective bubble, don't come and talk to me kind of thing. But now I just love being at home and do nothing. But it's because I did the things that I love doing to get to the point where I can do less and be more. So that's a really valuable thing for me that I found is in the change, and what I love about what I do. And when you have such a passion for something, it doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like I have to do this. It's like I love to do this. I love being there. And yet I have to check in with, if I do a training, I need to take a little bit of a, maybe 24 hours break afterwards. But I don't need much to when people say, don't you ever take vacations? Like, why would I? My life is pretty great.
What a beautiful place to be.
Yeah. Why do I need to take a vacation from the life that I created for myself? And I acknowledge all the privilege that comes with that too, of being able to live like this and do these things. There's a lot of that I think about too. Not everyone is able to do this. Yeah. So these are really important factors that I acknowledge and see, okay, so what can I do with the privilege that I have to actually help and support others? Not in a way of saviorism or something like that, but more like how can I support and encourage you to feel at your best as well?
Yeah. Let me circle back on something you said. For anybody who never thought about that, how would you differentiate loneliness and solitude?
Loneliness is when you can't stand to be by yourself. You are not able to look within and see all the things that you are, the good and the bad, and you're trying to fill a void with either a substance, a person, a activity, all of these things. Solitude is the opposite of that, of feeling so content with doing nothing, being nothing, and just using, activities, hobbies, rituals to be like, this is what I love doing. So solitude is more of a beautiful choice, whereas loneliness is can be forced upon you, but you can actually learn how to transmute that. And sometimes it's so crippling that we do need community. Like this hyper individualism that is being pushed upon us from the culture that we come from, it is so damaging. And we see that now in the world as well, that this is not the way to go. Community and collectivism is the way to go. Yeah.
An experience for people who go through times of loneliness, times of being forced to be in that space, or feeling like they cannot escape their feelings, right? It's because in my experience, sometimes it feels so binding. It feels like you're left with an inevitable situation.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's hard to maneuver out there if you're in the paddle, if you're in the washing machine and you just cannot see. So from somebody who experienced that, anything you could share?
Talk to people. Tell them about how you feel.
Oh, yeah.
Allow yourself to feel. And that can be done in so many different ways. There is no one simple way to change a complex situation. There are so many factors that are involved. It's not just something inside, it's societal, it's environmental. It's so many things that play a role in if you're experiencing loneliness. And so first things first is feel it, allow it, accept it. Like, shit, I feel lonely. Okay, next step. Let me write it down. Perhaps that. Write it down. Write a few lines every day. It doesn't have to be some pretentious, like, it needs to be this full journal or whatever. Just like write. And if you can't write about not writing.
Yeah.
Until the day comes when it's like, oh my God, this just comes, it keeps coming out. And and then have trusted people that you can share these experiences with, where people are good listeners and not trying to change you, rather than being someone who is like, oh, can I offer you some advice? Like, I didn't ask for advice. I just want to like be someone that I can shoot the shit with.
Ooh.
And then if I want to have advice, then I'm going to ask for it. But I think a lot of people tend to see from their own experience. And so I did this, so you can do too. It's like, yeah, but
God, yeah.
you did something different. It might not work for me. So
yeah.
And then we feel like there's something wrong with us if that didn't work. That's not the case. We need to find our own way, but the more we can support each other to go through those places, the better.
Yeah. I relate a lot to that. What you said, when people, it's almost like they are trying to get back into their own comfort with just putting their experience upon yours.
Yes.
And that's such a tricky thing. And I feel like it's been like, we don't get taught to stand with somebody in their suffering, right? But that is such a precious thing. Yeah. And it's hard.
It's really hard.
It's really hard, but that leads to very meaningful connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You mentioned the community here. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Sure.
So, living in Bali for almost 10 years now.
Yes.
Obviously, you know the people, you know your way around. This is your home. This is not just your base, this is your home. You have experienced so many people coming in, going out, and I do know that Ubud is a very transient place, right? So what is your relationship to the community here, and how would you describe the community here?
Well, with the emphasis on that word home, I also felt like coming here and I experienced a different type of people, and it felt more like there was a resonance. I felt more at ease and I could be myself and all of these things. And then after some time, I started seeing the not so great sides about these things. And it started to kind of make me back off. And I still feel like a guest here. I'm an immigrant, you know, that it's something that I feel like, wow, okay, I did that. And that's cool. I'm here as a guest. I'm so lucky to be able to work here and do what I love doing here as a guest. And so I want to obviously be as respectful and encouraging for everything that is Balinese and Indonesian to be theirs. And I'm just lucky to be able to experience that.
Yeah.
So with a community of people who are traveling through and stay here for a little bit, or other people that live here, I feel it's a very, and I guess it's a controversial thing to say, but I feel it's a very fragile community. I feel like there is an escapism from wherever we went, from wherever we lived, where we felt, and I'm part of it too. I escaped from a place that I didn't feel was, I was connected to, which I feel more connected to now in a sense. But yeah, I don't really do much outside of my work and the small group of friends that I have. I don't go to big things where all these gatherings and events. I used to do that. I just didn't feel much. I saw the superficial nature of it, and I was just like, it's not for me. I want something different. And the conversations didn't give me much. And if I offered something into the conversations, I felt like an outsider again, you know?
Ooh.
So it's a group of people that felt like they were outsiders somewhere, and now they felt like they belong. And then the longer I've stayed here, and I also felt like I don't belong in this place either. It's like, that's okay. I've done enough things to feel like I'm very comfortable and content with what I have and who I have around me and what I offer. And hopefully my offerings become something of a way of critical thinking, a critical feeling, and looking at where we are with more respect, with more appreciation, and less taking, you know? So
yeah, that respect, I feel as if it's such a crucial thing for this island, because we both know, I feel like you don't have to Google very, very much to realize that Bali is full, right?
Yeah.
Bali is packed and full and is almost claimed by Western communities, Western tourists, and it's become a huge problem. So
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to hear. I'm a guest here, right?
Yeah.
And I wish more people would realize that
Yeah.
we are literally just guests here. And then the other thing that strikes me, it's coming back to that discussion of solitude and loneliness, right? Of, wow, how do you deal with living in a community that you ultimately realize is quite fragile, right?
Mhm.
And we just said we are wired
Yeah.
for connection. We need community.
Yes.
And I can imagine it's really hard. And I do struggle with that myself, to let yourself fall into the arms of community. Let's pull it back and say the arms of friends, of people who you trust, right?
Yeah.
And then after years and years, just realizing that is quite fragile. And I guess meaningful connection always is at the beginning, right? Until you nurture it. But yeah, just tricky place to be. And I want to say that requires a lot of strength, inner strength.
It does. It does require a lot of inner strength, and kind of looking at the world that you came from and seeing that this is a different world in a sense. There's a different culture, there's different values, different priorities. And what I find we've lost as mainly white Europeans or Western folks is this sense of community. And maybe that's why we're being drawn to a place like Bali or Thailand or Costa Rica or wherever it is, where there is a sense of strength in community and local indigenous communities. And for us to have a respect for that and not try to stand on top of that and put our values on top of that. It doesn't work either. It's a very tricky thing. So I look at this development here and the lack of regulations too from local authorities and things like that, which makes it very tricky because people just come here and start building, you know, and this is not really taking care of the land. And then all these influences from Western capitalism and stuff like that is influencing local authorities and everything here as well. So it's a very, very tricky thing. And I guess that's where it comes to from going what I love about living here and what I don't love about living here, which is environmentalism. This is like a really, really tough thing for me coming from Sweden, where this is like standard practice for. I'm 43 now, so it's like my whole life. This is just like the most standard thing, you know. And the plastic pollution here is very heartbreaking. Yeah, and at the same time, how do I support and bring awareness to this without imposing my way of thinking either, you know? Which is very, very tricky. So it's and coming as an outsider and saying like, oh, you shouldn't do this and this and this. And it's like, oh yeah, so I'm doing the same thing that I'm saying that I don't want to do. So it's so tricky. So it's always a constant internal struggle and observing, learning, and seeing what other people are doing as well. Sungai Watch, for example, that are cleaning up beaches and rivers all the time. It's very inspirational. And we're trying to work with that with a bunch of yoga teachers on the island, see what we can do and help out to raise awareness and also find funding for it to support and donate and stuff like that. So we're still figuring that out. But I see that there is a community within the community of people that are wanting to give and not give for any kind of profit or wanting to elevate themselves, but just like, I just want to help and support and do my part, you know? So that's the, I can't complain about the weather or anything. Like, I'm very pale. I shouldn't be here. This is not, I'm not meant for this kind of weather. Like, I'm always in long sleeves and like hoodies and like have a covering up.
You are one of the very few people who dress in regular clothes, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm adapted. I've been here for almost a decade now, so
Right.
I'm kind of adapting to the climate and in that sense. Not fully. It's still like it's just hot all the time.
Yeah.
And when it's rainy. So it's like you just adapt to it. Yeah.
Let's have a cookie.
Let's have a cookie.
I love that these are your favorite ones.
These are my favorite.
I can
ones.
make way better dark chocolate chip cookies. Just saying. Spoiler for the next time. Come back.
I'm booking my flight.
Okay. How is your dating life?
You caught me off guard. Right with the cookies
with the cookie.
too.
Yeah. Strategy.
Right now, non-existent. When it comes to relationships, I think the majority of us, I think, and maybe that's another Western kind of concept. I think it's a global concept. We look for the one. We look for the one that's going to last. We look for, this person has to fit in every box that I'm ticking off and needs to be this. And if there is one slight wrong, then it's like, it's a failure. Rather than seeing relationships as cycles of experiences that you can share a romantic or intimate part of your life with someone, and seeing that if both can see it in a collective way, that maybe we run to the edge of our cycle. Like we found that it doesn't go any deeper further, or there's something going on.
Okay, my take on it. I do agree that is something, it's a global issue, and our lack of awareness of cycles generally, right, is causing issues in our environment, but also in our personal lives. And also, my take on it is that our generation, we're spoiled. We don't have grit when it comes to connection. We don't have what it takes, or what I have no idea, but what I imagine that it takes to be with somebody long term. Okay. I mean, my longest relationship was 4.5 years. And
That's
that
a good
is
one.
nothing, though. Like, that's nothing. I'm looking at my grandparents. I'm not going to say that's the best relationship, right? I'm not saying they have a great relationship. And yet I will say there is something that I don't know. Like, it's not part of me to know what it means and what it takes to be with somebody for such a long term. Like, the amount of compassion. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, like you said, it's a generational thing. Your grandparents didn't have social media apps. They didn't have dating apps. There wasn't a global way of, I can be on another island across the world within 17 hours if I jump on a plane. Like, the access to immediacy of going to places, we are far more spoiled to go around and to connect. But because that has grown so exponentially, that we treat each other as commodities, not as a person. So when people met each other 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, it was, I'm not going to say it was a lack or scarcity, but it was a dedication to, like, this is what I'm going to get. And it's not that you're settling, it's that you're dealing with it. You're taking this path together. Now, because we're more spoiled, we're also more, we have higher demands, but I think they're also blown through the roof that these demands are unachievable. So when we say that, we talk about, oh, but my grandparents, they've been married this whole time. It's like, yeah, because they didn't have options. And maybe we have too many options now. So we don't want to put any effort into it, which is why we complain about, oh, they were this and this and this, red flags, green flags, whatever, all of these things. Because we have this ideal version of, we mate for life. And yet we see and have seen for the past forever that is very rare. And I bring this analogy up where people look at back and say, oh, I want my man to be like this couple, this man rushing off to the war, and he's like, he's choosing her. It's like, you don't think he did not do some things when he was away?
Things. Well, yeah.
You don't think he had fun with other people because he's in a trench, or he's in a bunker, or he's somewhere else in the jungle, and finally they have a weekend off or whatever. You know, you don't think that people do that? I mean, we hear that all the time, and you don't think the person waiting for them at home is getting like, I don't know if this person is coming home. So that I bet that's a current thing now as well, seeing that there are multiple wars going on as well in the world all the time, and we just put too much emphasis on this needs to be the one. It's like, that is such a high it's such a strong position to be in that it's really difficult to uphold. And when we see a relationship ending, we see it as a failure, instead of seeing like that we reached as far as we can go in this connection. Maybe one of us wanted out before the other one. That tends to happen too. But when we say, oh, he was supposed to be the one, it's like, yeah, but it wasn't, so maybe he isn't. And what is the one anyway? Like, these ideals are very, very difficult to attain.
Yeah. But I realized in the last I experienced in the last couple of years, but I only realized it in the last couple of months, that with every partner, with every man I dated, with every relationship that I had, there's so much personal growth, right? The people who are closest to us influence us the most. So with every person that I let close to me, to my heart, I change. And that's a beautiful thing. And then it comes down to realizing, wow, thank you, right? Thank you to you, and thank you to you. And thank you for teaching me that, even though I did not want to have that lesson. Like, I did not ask for that, but thank you. And okay, what's your take on monogamy? What's your take on being polyamor?
Well, I had one thought that I wanted to go to before we go to that. And what I've, in my dating life and my relationships with people, that if we've dated someone or had a long relationship with someone, when it ends, we tend to like cut the cord and like, you know, and this whole thing, can you be friends with your exes? You know,
Can you?
Yeah, because I've lived it for a long time.
Love that.
I think 90% of the people that I've dated, I'm still friends with. And it's a small island, even smaller village that we live in, town, whatever you want to call it. But I just know a lot of people that and specifically the past year, I feel the biggest relationships that I've had that affected me the most, we've gone back to become friends again. And that is really, really valuable to see that it didn't work out as romantic partners, but we're working out as really, really good friends. And I think that's a really valuable thing.
That is beautiful.
It's beautiful, and it can be complicated for new partners because they see like, wait, so this is your ex and this is your ex? Yes, I've been here for a long time. So have they. And we tried and it didn't work out, but we were mature about it to be friends. And leading into monogamy and polyamory, I've tried both. And it goes in waves or periods, can go for years. I was more polyamorous before. I was very clear with every person that I was dating that I'm dating other people as well. Sometimes they would meet each other and become actually good friends, which is a very, very cool thing to be in. I know this is not a state of relating for many, many people. They look down on it and they think it's weird. And I understand that. But bringing it back to, again, with disloyalty and cheating and all of these things, that we have this ability to love, and some people use it as an excuse to just not commit and be with multiple people. I know also a lot of people, both personally and seeing people that are sharing about their way of relating, that it works for some people. It works where they have long-lasting paramours or people that are in some kind of a dynamic that it's not monogamous, tends to be. And I've done that. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's more complicated. So is monogamy. So I have one person. You still have to communicate like a ninja. You still have to be very, very open and vulnerable and like learn all these things. It's not easy no matter what you choose.
Yeah.
But I'm not picking one or the other as like, this is the standard. There is none for me. I don't see it like that. I've tried both. I've felt both work in some ways and others not. But yeah, I'm not in a space where I want to date multiple people.
In terms of your self-growth, what's the most beautiful thing it taught you being with more partners at one time?
Learning how to communicate and be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I think when people see it from the outside that doesn't know what it's like, it feels like you're making a schedule and you have to like, it's like, yeah, it's a lot. But what it does, it helps you to become a better communicator, choosing just to be with one person. And everyone that I know that are doing polyamory, they usually transition back to monogamy at some point, and then they go out of it again. And like, and some people just call it. We also put so much emphasis on it; it's really ridiculous in some ways. I think that some people say, "Oh, I'm polyamorous." Like, no, you're just dating. You just had a breakup. You're just dating and having fun. You know, that's not polyamorous. Like, do they know about each other? No, so it's not polyamory. Come on,
right?
So labels again becomes very, very divisive in a sense of we put ourselves in boxes. And then you can also completely take no accountability or responsibility for it, which is another way of this is not healthy either. Saying, oh, we're just free flowing. We're just like, no. I want clarity. I don't need to fucking label, but I would like to have some awareness of what are we? And if what we are is, I don't know yet, then I'm fine with that until we figure it out. You know?
Yeah, that was a big moment right now. Being able to say, I don't know yet, right? Having that inner courage to not having to be bound to one label or what the other person expects of you. I believe that's a big issue for a lot of people, right? Because so often we want to please, right? We want to please the norms that we've been birthed into, our cultural norms, and it all comes with expectations.
Yeah.
What do people expect of you? And sure, I want to say this cookie is great. And not having to stick to labels.
Yeah. Labels are good in some ways, but when we put too much attachment to them, they can be quite
right.
It's like we're darting around it all the time. It's what are we? Oh, we're this. Okay, so we can't change that now. It's like people change all the time as well. So to stick with one thing and then changing, it's like, why not? Why can't we change our minds about things and where we want to go and who we want to be?
I think what it comes down to is the clarity of your words, your intentions, the ability to speak it, but also the awareness that it can change, right? That you're not bound to what is now. And yet you are right here, right now, right? Living that and not something that's far ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a constant exploration. And the not knowing where it's going or where I want to be or what I want to do. Or you can meet someone and that person can be, challenging a lot of things about yourself. And I think every lesson is a valuable one, even if the relationship might not work out. You take something from that experience into the next one. If we have an internal compass of labels rather than an external one that we have to define ourselves to others, but more for ourselves. Like right now, I feel like I want to be monogamous. You don't have to like blurt it out to the world, but like, this is what I'm focusing on right now and where I want to go with it. You know, people say that they're celibate. It's like, no, you just haven't had sex for a while.
Yeah.
That's not a choice. That's just circumstances. Like, don't, that's the label. I can't stand that. That gives me the ick. It's like, I'm celibate. It's like, which church do you live in? Like, come on. Like, where's your outfit? This is, I mean, this is not, I know that took it to a religious point, but there's more ways of celibacy. But sometimes celibacy just means that you're just unlucky if that's what you're searching for. I'm not a fan of that label.
If it's not chosen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm celibate for 2 weeks. No, you're celibate for 2 decades. Like, come to me when you've been that. Like, it's not, you're just not, you're focusing on other things for 2 weeks. Like, stop it. I don't know where the line is. Like, here is where the line of celibacy begins. You know, if it's 1 year, 2 years, like. But yeah, I know people who came out of a relationship and they were like, I'm choosing not to date anyone. I'm choosing to remain completely out of dating life and love life and everything. I'm just gonna, and that's a process of, I want to evolve and grow and know what I'm calling in. That's very beautiful. I honor that so much. But to say that the other thing, like, no. I don't buy that.
That's something, a question that people rarely ever ask themselves, right? What am I choosing? What am I choosing with my actions? And what am I actually choosing, or what am I doing just out of habit or because it's their agency, right? What am I choosing? How am I want to live this life?
Right. And allow that to change.
Oh, yeah.
Allow yourself to go in a different path and choose something else. It doesn't have to be, and I'm saying that to myself most of the time. It's a big reflection of, because when I choose something, I go for it so hardcore, and all my friends know it. It's like, oh my God, when he chooses something, it's like nothing else exists.
Yeah.
But then when I change my mind, or I find new information about something, if it's work related or if it's something that I liked and enjoyed, and then I learned more about it, I felt like, oh, this doesn't serve me anymore. I want to change it up. I was like, wait, what? You were so into that. It's like, yes, I was. And now I'm changing. Like, how difficult is that to understand, to grasp that people change?
I relate to that so much. I will take it a step further. And sometimes I do even have difficulties committing to something. But when I do, man, like when I do, I'm all in, full, wholehearted. And I've experienced that a lot, what you said, whenever life changes, circumstances change, right? I'm also not clinging to stuff. Like, of course, there will be times where my perception makes me cling to things, and my grip is also very hard. But usually I have quite an easy time letting something go if it's not meant for me anymore. But then having that reflected back to you from the outside, where everybody around you is just shocked, right? And this is part why I really want to do this podcast, because I want to bring awareness to the many layers, right? I want to have people speak. I want to speak from my own experiences of life being so fucking colorful, right? And it just does not fit in a box.
Yeah.
Like all the choices you can make over an entire lifetime. How can you put your personality or your life in such a tiny box?
Absolutely. We see that with multiple people, and we've been conditioned to this thing that you have to make it in your 20s and be like at a certain part of your life at 30, and then from 40 it's just gonna like go downhill, you know. I fully disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm in my 40s now, and I'm at the prime of everything that I do, and I have so much more to offer. So that is more of a very demanding Western capitalist culture of, you are a commodity and you are for profit way of looking at life. And I've seen so many people throughout the ages where they rediscover themselves in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And that becomes an inspiration for a lot of people of like, whoa, life is not over at 30. And I hear it from people that are younger than me. It's like, oh yeah, I'm in my 30s, my back is bad, and like it's all going downhill from here. I was like, who are you? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then I share a little bit about me, and they're like,
Oh, yeah.
It's incomprehensible, until they feel like, I want to change. Yeah. It's like, good.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Exactly. For people who are in that place right now, right, who are sitting at home, they built their life quite neatly. They put a lot of effort, a lot of years into building that very beautiful box that they're living in now. What would you say to them?
I've gotten this question before, and also because I live here and I do this life, which is not a life for everyone. Many yoga teachers and people like that want to come here and work here. And it's like, how did you do it? I was like, I just kept doing it. Like, it was not easy to get here. You have to be so devoted and adamant and like, don't give up. Mm-hmm. And then I can't answer if it's going to work or not. You're going to find your path. But when we see what other people have been doing, like, oh, I want to do that because they were successful. It's like, yeah, but that's them. Mm-hmm. Choose you. And so I think small steps is the first way to go. Like, because we make these massive changes. We sell our apartment, we sell all our belongings, we move to Thailand or Bali, and then what now? It's like, did you really want that, or did you want the life that they have? And don't you think that they also struggle to get where they were or are, or that they're not even satisfied with where they want to go with this? Mm-hmm. So that's a problematic thing, because we, once again, we see success and monetary value of money, of property, of things as a marker of our success. But I would be more curious, like, what do you do when you're not working? What do you do what do you do for fun? Mm-hmm. Can you sit with yourself? How do you feel when you're alone? Can you go to the movies by yourself? Do you go out and eat by yourself? When I was in Europe last year and the previous year, traveling around, doing workshops, it was so cool because I went to like the bigger cities in Europe, and there was always a line outside of every restaurant. And I would always get ahead of the line because they're all either pairs or more. And I was the only one alone eating by myself. So there was always this solitary table in the corner somewhere. So I would always get in. And I was always get food because everyone's just sitting there waiting because they're always together. I find that's a beautiful thing, but can we do those things that are seen as social things? Why is a social thing going to the movies? You're not talking with each other anyway, but like, you want to go by yourself too sometimes. It's fun. But what do we do when we're not working towards something? Yeah. What kind of enjoyment do we have? Do we go to dance classes, yoga classes? Do we, go to a library and read books just for the sake of it? Those things I'm curious about. And then build upon that. What is it that you want to change? Are you not happy with your work? Instead of, quitting today and like figuring it out later, can you make small steps that this is a support system that you have and possibly need if you have an apartment and bills and things like that, and work your way small steps to kind of change it, instead of just making these radical changes, which we think is like, I have to take a leap of faith. Yeah. It's like, if you always take a leap of faith, everything that you choose to do, you're always going to fall flat on your face. There, I got it. Yeah. But if you take small steps towards the horizon, it might come closer to you. But every time we get to the horizon, it's still further on. You're going to look for the next step. And so I think one of the more important parts is to look back at where we were before and to see where we are now. It's like, I took these small steps. Yes, it's taken me 10 steps higher up on the mountain or the hill. And I'm looking back, it's like, oh, I get it now. The consistency, the ease, the slowness of it, instead of the jump, risking a fall and maybe getting so scared that you don't want to take another risk. Yeah. And I think that's the thing we're doing so much of. We're trying to take big risks. Is a big risk just telling someone you like them and maybe dealing with rejection? But if you take small steps, I want to get to know this person just as friends. And then slowly, like years later, you might look at that person like, it's you, you know? That can
Yeah.
be really cool. I've
Yeah.
had that experience. It's fun.
Yeah.
But once again, it's the big, big steps that we want to take because we think that they're the ones that changes it.
Right.
But the change comes from slow progression.
Yeah, I feel like that's values that aren't necessarily cherished much, right? Slowness, consistency, the ease of it.
Yeah.
But it's so freaking important if you want to build something that's fundamentally stable.
We want results.
Oh yeah, we
want instant results.
Yes.
The way that we are on apps. And like I said, with dating apps, we're swiping people like at a grocery store. Like, no, yes, no. It's not people anymore.
And you know what? I will say, even though I fully agree, and I don't like that, right? I don't like that people are after clicks and after that fast-paced living and after results. I fall into that trap myself. Like, I've been noticing since I came here, right? This is this beautiful, serene place. Bali it has a tendency of giving you what you need, I will say. And apparently what I needed to see was that mirror of how do I react when my plans don't work out? How do I react when something interferes with my perception?
Yeah.
Right? And that's a tricky thing because ultimately in life, right, we think we have these values, think we have these morals, and we ground ourselves in them, and we're so self-righteous.
Yep.
But then being able to listen to life and be like, aha, right, I just did that, which I think is totally bullshit.
True.
So, yeah, bless Bali. Yeah. Okay, I should have asked you about off limits before, so tell me off if I'm overstepping a line. But how do you identify in terms of sexuality?
Oh, I love that this is the first time I don't do an off limits thing in podcasts. And in terms of my sexuality, I guess I've always known that I'm queer. And from when I was young to having a period of confusion of what am I? And my view on it is that being straight is a choice. I don't think that's the default. And that's going to make a lot of people upset. I don't care.
Love that.
Because looking back at history, this is not the case. Heterosexuality, I think, as a word is just like 100 or 120 years old. So looking at it like that, it comes with more the monotheistic religions that we are, that are more active right now. And pre those days, looking at indigenous cultures, looking at pre-monotheistic religions, Greek culture, Egyptian culture, Nordic culture, all of these things. Looking at sexuality was not about, man and woman, we need to match. It was very, very much more open, complex, and diverse, where there wasn't really, and it's still like that in indigenous cultures in many ways. So I think the whole straightness thing is a shame attached view, and I've never believed in it, and I've never really felt connected to it. But it took me some time to be confused about, like, how do I label myself? I'm not straight, I'm not bi, I'm not gay, I'm everything and nothing altogether. So queer was a word that I was like, oh, this feels very free when I say it and when I feel it. And I think when it comes to sexuality, is not the attraction to another person, whether it's the opposite gender or whatever gender that it is, but the way that you look at yourself within, and to be comfortable with all the aspects and the complexities that you are, that you are allowed to be expressive and however you please, in a sense where being strong, being vulnerable, being honest, being mischievous, being many, many different things. And that is something that I've always felt was part of me. I always dared to express myself. I've had moments where like I didn't know how to word those feelings or things like that, but I was always going to that part because I was curious about what am I feeling right now? How can I say this? And I know a lot of people that are not able to do that, and it's a
Most
thing
people
among
probably, right?
A lot of people. I've met a lot of when I've been dating, and I've been the one who's been most expressive and being able to like identify and reconcile with my feelings and all of these things. And I'm by far not perfect in anything. We're all human and trying to do our best, and we're going to make mistakes and faults, and I think it's something that we can acknowledge that we're just trying to do our best. But yeah, I found when it comes to the term, sexuality, it goes beyond the part of physical intimacy or attraction or these things. It's once again, it's a looking within to see how many parts can be allowed to be flourishing rather than suppressed.
I love that statement.
Thank you.
How would you describe being a queer male in Europe versus in Bali?
Way easier. I remember when I was in Amsterdam last year, and it was my last day before going to the next city, and I was just walking through the park listening to Hosher, and I was strutting. I was like, I was just vibing with it. I just felt so like there's no one that cares here. And actually no one cares here either. But I think when it comes to these offerings that people are giving here, these tantra workshops and events and things like that, it's very heteronormative, and it's based off, men connecting with women. I was like, can we do better? Can we do more? Can we do people?
Yeah.
Can we just have people connecting with people? And I've been to events that is more non-binary, where it's like you can still choose to connect with the opposite of sex, but it's not limited to that. And I find these terms being very limiting. And as soon as I kind of stepped away from them, I became more free in my sexual expression. And that is not, once again, it's not about how I express myself towards another person with attraction and intimacy. It's about how I communicate from myself onto the world, into the world, and with others. Yeah.
Have you ever faced any harsh moments living in a very hetero-driven world?
Like I said, I don't go to these events mostly, so I just don't spend time on that. People get triggered and confused about it, but also the opposite. I have friends who do polarity work and things like that, and
maybe speak for a moment about these events. Like, what does that look like? What kind of events are out there for somebody who hasn't experienced the Ubud scene?
There are like dance events, contact dance, which is a free-flowing way of like improvised dancing. There are techniques you can use. There are workshops that you can learn how to be better at it. Of course, great. It's a good way to learn how to connect with yourself and to others. So a lot of people that are dealing with physical intimacy or stuff like that, that's a good way of doing it. It also trains you to be better at boundaries, saying no, all of these things. But I've also seen the bad side of that because it's a nonverbal space. People think that they can just take. And so most facilitators are not trained in this in any way. They just went for a weekend workshop and then call themselves a dance facilitator. So these are all the things. It's very unregulated, these things. So, and the whole yoga world is, to be honest. But I think expertise and consistency and long-lasting, like having an integrity with yourself as a facilitator, you're going to keep going further than someone who doesn't have that integrity. So it's unfortunately, and hopefully not, it will lead to a bad experience for someone feeling not safe and experiencing something. They won't come back. They will probably let that person know, I hope. Because that's something we should do more often, to speak up about when we feel attacked or when we feel some sense of abuse, emotional, physical, mental, whatever it is, that we speak up about it. And this is why these communities are far more important to actually voice these things. And I think that doesn't happen enough. But when it happens, it feels, people can get upset and like, oh my God, something's happening. I don't like this. It's uncomfortable. Instead of being, well, someone had to do it. And usually when someone brings it up, other people come up as well. So I think that's, someone has to be the first one to bring it up. And for me, as a queer person here, I bring these things up when it comes up, when people talk about these events. I'm like, is it polarity, masculine, feminine stuff? It's like, why? And then I ask, instead of being like very critical of it, I'm more curious about it. It's like, and that's what I meant with my friends asking me about, what's your view on this? We're trying to solve this thing with these. I'm not an expert. Like, why are you asking me? But I can give you a perspective of how I see it. So maybe that helps you to see it differently too.
You brought up the yoga world.
Okay, let's go there.
Yeah. What do you think people should know about the yoga world? Living and working in that world for quite a long time now. What do you think isn't talked about enough?
Well, I would not consider myself a yoga teacher anymore, because I don't find myself having extensive knowledge or education about it to claim myself to be that. Just because I took a yoga teacher training, what was it, 8-10 years ago now, I learned some things, but I don't feel like I'm qualified enough to teach that. So I went for more simple terms and inclusive terms, like movement, as a movement educator, and focusing on mobility and more physical therapy aspect of embodiment and feeling. So it goes, I have a very technical side of me that's very, very specific, anatomical. And then I have a very poetic, somatic kind of experience of it too, and I combine those two in cool ways, I think. And so I kind of felt like I stepped out of the yoga world, so to say, because I didn't feel so connected to it. I didn't feel authentic in it. And I've looked at it from an outside perspective, also an inside perspective, because I work in the biggest place for that. And how this works for people. I ask a lot of students, how was your experience of that class? So I get a little bit of information about what was offered and what people do. And also curious about if the teachers who are sharing what they share, if they practice what they preach. That's very interesting too, because I don't feel like that is the case oftentimes. People teach a certain way, a certain style, and then saying certain words like this helps this and this and that. And yet these teachers come to me to treat those things that they are having issues with. It's like,
something's off.
Which is also okay, because we're not perfect. I always try to emphasize I'm on the same level as everyone else, even though when people come into a class, you have a teacher in the front, we're not on some fucking podium, but like, you see them as an authoritative person, someone with more knowledge or wisdom or things like that. Like, I agree with that. This is a job in a sense, but I try to really show that we're all in this together, and we're just trying to figure stuff out. No one's better than you just because they might put on this pillar for themselves within, of like, I'm this teacher. It's like, oof.
That's such a tricky
It is a very tricky thing.
And you see it so often.
Yes. And
power.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a position of power that can be abused or it can be honored. And I don't want to see myself as a position of power. I want to see something like, I'm showing you the door, but you're going to walk through it by yourself if you choose to. I'm just saying that that there's a place there you can go to. I've been there. It's pretty cool. I don't know what you're going to find there. But to say that of like, I'm holding your hand and I'm guiding you and I'm telling you exactly what to do, that gives me the ick. That's like, this is not okay.
Yeah.
That's manipulative. It's controlling. It's not okay. And some styles, not just in yoga, but within many, many different ways of practices and things, have that position of like, they are in power, they are the guide. And some people, you know, if they have a job that is very demanding, they just want to go to a class and be told what to do. You're probably not going to enjoy my class there because I'm offering so much freedom to do whatever you want, but in a very controlled and kind of guided way. But
I would say in a safe way.
Yes.
Having been to your class, I would say.
I emphasize and work really, really a lot towards creating a safe space where, and I know we say that as a buzzword, safe space, but I want to make a place where you feel confident to be yourself and to feel free. And what I see, especially with men that don't practice or do these kind of fluid movements that I teach and practice all the time, but they get into it so easily because I found a way to use the words in such a simple way. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're doing it. This is so cool.
This is awesome.
Like, I like the faces on these guys, like, whoa. I was like, they've never felt that before. You know, and then the class is done. They're like, thank you.
Right.
But I know that they felt something. And yeah, I have a very specific style in the way that I teach, which differs from many teachers that facilitate here. And I feel like I take a lot of pride in, I'm not being different to be different for different sake. I just found a few ways that makes it a little bit more inclusive and safe and sustainable, looking outside of the yoga world and taking in more interesting aspects of physical therapy and movement and curiosity.
I really appreciate that take on it. Really cool. Describe your practice. Describe how that transition was when you said you did a yoga teacher training. You are working at the largest yoga studio in the world. You are a yoga teacher, but you don't identify as a yoga teacher anymore. And you do movement stuff, right?
Yeah, that's very, very succinct. Movement stuff.
Love that. And I have been to your classes, and I love your take on it and the changes that you did. How would you describe them?
How would you describe a sunset? You have to experience it, which is a very boring answer. But if I would describe it, yoga and yoga asana from a more traditional perspective and certain modern branches of it as well has a sense of aesthetics and rigidity to it that has a purpose. I think sometimes the words can be toned down because we're claiming a lot of benefits of these things that are like, you don't need to throw in this here. Like, this is not, there's no evidence for that. And that's why I don't take a lot of yoga classes, because when I hear those things, it takes me out of the whole experience. There's no evidence for that. And that's why I don't take a lot of yoga classes, because when I hear those things, it takes me out of the whole experience. But what I've diverted from was this rigidity into more of a fluidity. So I started looking outside of yoga and got into more mobility work and joint intelligence. I started looking at movement forms of dance, which I was always this creative little dude that went for figure skating instead of ice hockey and these things. So I was like, how can I get some creative aspects into that? You're viewing right now me as an ice skater, right? Yeah,
I do.
Pirouettes and shit.
I love that idea.
Right, me too. I'll try it again sometime. But yeah, I looked outside of the small yoga world. It's big, but it's like it's a small lens of a bigger picture of movement, exercise, strength training, resistance training, a lot of these things. And I just wanted to bring in more stuff. And then having, a big group of people, 30, 40, 50, 60 people sometimes, in front of me, and everyone comes from different walks of life, beginners or advanced. And it's like, I want to make a class that is accessible to everyone and not just 20% of people here, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to take in a different aspect of movement and things to make it more inclusive. I had to look outside of the scope of yoga to make it more encouraging. And I just started playing with different things. So it's still like, it's always a work in progress, but I've found a few ways now with the intelligence, with inner strength, with mobility therapy, that operates outside of the yoga world, but is integral to yoga because it helps people feel more connected in their bodies, feeling more safe. Yes, we're working on our joints and we're looking beyond alignment into arrangement. We're doing these things, but more so than anything else, I'm focusing on bringing more confidence to people, that not using a fear of movement, but an optimism of movement, you know, to be more curious about, I can do this. Like, yes, you could totally do that. Instead of like, oh, but someone told me 20 years ago that this is bad. It's like, and how has that been working out for you? You know? So, yeah.
That's the ultimate moment of, if I say, I want to say success, even though I'm not fully loving that word, but let's use it. It's a moment of success for a yoga teacher when the people who joined your class walk out and they feel just a little more connected to themselves, right? Whatever you do, whatever your approach is, but if you help people, if you can take them by the hand and guide them to a place of connection, of feeling a little more alive, like, oh, how beautiful.
Yeah. I think a good teacher is the one who, they can hold your hand, but then they slowly slip away and you just keep walking.
Yeah.
And then you forgot that they're not even there anymore.
And that, once again, does not happen often because of the entire power play. Because of the, that form of authority that you experience once you've been giving a platform, right? I mean, so many people strive for that, being listened to, being heard, being seen. And then you do a yoga teacher training and you all of a sudden realize, wow, these people are listening to me. I believe, again, with the norms and the culture and the experience we've been growing up with, it is so tricky to not be tempted by that power for so many people. And I fully believe that usually people don't act with bad intention, but it's a slippery, slimy path.
It really is. It's a tricky thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get so much confidence in a way when you just step out of a 200-hour training and you're like, I'm going to teach. It's like, good luck.
Yeah.
You're going to change your view on things, hopefully 6 months from now. And then 6 months from now, from that place, you're going to question the things that you were taught because you saw someone else showing something different. I did that all the time. I was always, I'm still changing the way that I view things.
And yet, what a beautiful thing, right? When somebody feels that empowered, that passionate about something, like people who did a yoga teacher training, walking out of there and feeling as if they could share something. How beautiful! Like, of course, I want to encourage that, and I do never want to downplay that, but I want to add that awareness of, be aware of power dynamics.
Yeah, and we both know that as we host teacher trainings, to always look within ourselves and kind of question ourselves as well. Because I think there is a lack of critical thinking in the yoga world, because we hear some person in a power position or authoritative position say these things, and then we take that on and we start basically every sentence with, my teacher says this. It's like, did you ask them why?
Yeah.
Like, to ask, why did they say that?
Yeah.
And I ask myself those things. Like, even now, I'm like, I can say something in class like, why did I say that? Why did I? Okay, I'm gonna check that out. Like, why did I say that?
Happens all the time to me as well. Yeah. Okay, how to find you? Where can we learn about your stuff? What are you doing? When are you coming back to Europe?
Hopefully 2026. 2025, I have 3 trainings here in Bali, so I'm going to focus on them. I'll have my website. This is chrisfox.com. You'll find everything, information about my trainings and writings that I do, Same name for Instagram. This is Chris Fox. And if you want to come to classes, I'm here at the Yoga Barn in Ubud, Bali. Come and try some new things, and hopefully be inspired and get a little bit more of critical thinking and feeling into your life. Yeah.
I want to end with saying I really appreciate you. I appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank you.
I appreciate the person you've grown into over the few years that I've known you.
Likewise.
Thank you. And I absolutely love what you do.
Thank you.
So thank you for sitting down with me. That was
always
epic.
a pleasure. Great cookies too.
Woo!